After 2 long years of the FDA saying peptides are not allowed to be made in pharmacies, we are finally seeing a comeback. A couple weeks ago, RFK announced that 14 of the 19 banned peptides are going to be allowed to be made in pharmacies again. This is going to completely change the landscape of peptides in the marketplace. So in this video, I'm going to go over all 19 of the peptides that we might be getting back. I'm going to rank them from my least favorite all the way up to my favorite and how you can use them for yourself. Let's get started. Before we get into the video, it is important to know I'm not a doctor, this isn't medical advice, and this is purely for science and your entertainment. Everything I talk about in this video comes from my own personal experience and experiments, as well as the acute results of the patients who come to my clinic. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the video. As we dive into this list, it's important to understand what a peptide is, and more importantly, what it isn't. If you want the full explanation, I've got a video I posted on that a couple weeks ago. You can go watch it. I'll tag it in the description. But a peptide is literally just a set of instructions that tells your body to perform a mechanism that it already does, just at a higher rate. You're not injecting anything unnatural, or you're not doing anything that your body can't already do, which is much different than synthetic compounds like steroids, which are designed to make your body do something it does not naturally. Now, starting at number 18, now I will note it was really difficult to make this list because I do believe all of these have had great impact on me, but somebody had to be last and somebody had to be number 1. Ranking at number 18, I have delta sleep inducing peptide. Now, again, I actually did see some positive results from this one, so I don't want the ranking to be confusing. But in comparison to how the others work, here's why I've got it at number 18. Delta sleep inducing peptide, it's in the name. It makes you get into delta sleep. Delta sleep is that deeper layer of sleep. It is the sleep that you're actually getting some level of recovery in. You're in delta sleep. So the whole point of delta sleep inducing peptide is to protect your sleep. Coming in at number 17 is PEG-MGF. Try saying that 5 times fast. This peptide's job is to activate dormant repair cells, specifically in your muscles after experiencing things like exercise or strenuous activity. As most of you guys know, every time you're exercising, you do a bicep curl, you're creating micro tears in that muscle. And the healing of those micro tears is how muscle grows. The problem lies in the signaling system is that sometimes your body doesn't know when micro tears are happening, and it doesn't send enough signal to let your body know to go heal that muscle. That signal is MGF. But the problem with MGF is that sometimes it doesn't last long enough to actually reach the area you need. It deteriorates in your bloodstream in about 5 minutes. So a lot of times that's not enough time to finish the job. Why they made this in peptide format. They made it act long enough to completely finish the job. Coming in at 16 is the GHRP twins, GHRP2 and GHRP6. GHRP stands for growth hormone releasing peptide, and these two do exactly that. They stimulate growth hormone, one by directly pulsing growth hormone and one by pulsing your ghrelin. GHRP stands for growth hormone releasing peptide, and they stimulate growth hormone by targeting your ghrelin. Don't know what ghrelin is? Ghrelin is the hormone in your body that stimulates hunger. A byproduct of stimulating your ghrelin is pulsing growth hormone. That growth hormone goes to your muscles, fat loss, skin, hair, everything, all the benefits we get from growth hormone. But be warned, you are going to be hungry. When I say hungry, I mean really hungry. These effects will happen as soon as 20 to 30 minutes after taking GHRP. GHRP2 is a slightly weaker hunger stimulant. So if you're not someone who's looking to pound a bunch of calories, GHRP2 is probably the better out of the two, but I think both are more fitting for a bulk than they are any kind of cut. The reason I'm not a big fan of these and they're ranked as low as they are is because of the effect they have on cortisol. If you know anything about cortisol, it is the kryptonite of your muscles, and it's not great for your brain or your mood or anything really. I would rather avoid this and use a different growth hormone mechanism. As you guys know, my favorite of all time is Ipamorelin. Next, we've got KPV. Now, I'm actually a really big fan of this one, so I'll explain why I've got it as low as I do on my list. KPV is the master anti-inflammatory in the body. It is really good at reducing puffiness in the face, or if you suffer from things like acne, then it can be really beneficial at taking down the systemic inflammation that's causing that acne. The area where I think it's got the biggest potential for impact in people's health is in the gut. Inflammation runs rampant in people's guts. Most people don't realize your serotonin is produced in the gut, the main chemical that decides whether or not you're in a good mood or a bad mood. Inflammation causes countless issues when it comes to people's gut health. So taking care of this from the source can make drastic differences in the way you look, in the way your skin looks, and the way you feel. The reason I have it ranked as low as I do is it does not provide as much of a long-term benefit as some of the other anti-inflammatory ones that exist. It's really good at turning it off acutely, but it's not much of a long-term solution. That being said, I have used this before and I've gotten excellent results. It really brings you back to baseline, which if that is your pure goal, then it is excellent for what it does. Now, this next one you guys are gonna castrate me for, but it does have some potential benefits and I want people to listen to this one all the way through. That is AOD. A lot of people would have ranked this all the way at the bottom or shown that it was just completely ineffective. And for those of you that don't know, AOD is a fragment of growth hormone. Now, it was originally brought to market for its ability to target aesthetic fat, so the fat around your love handles, around your lower back, which is where a lot of guys get. And I will say, I did use it, I did get benefits, but it's not nearly as good as some companies make it out to be, which is why the community has completely exiled AOD from the conversation. But here's why I do like AOD is effective at creating new cartilage. which is really valuable if you're someone who does do heavy weight training. One of the biggest injuries bodybuilders and anybody who weight trains really heavy gets is in their knees, and it's usually because of a loss of cartilage. If you're doing all those heavy squats and those leg presses, you're destroying that, grinding that cartilage with your bones, right? Imagine you've got a little bag of sand in between two metal pipes, and every time that you're making that motion, you're grinding those metal pipes on that bag of sand. All of a sudden, you're going to wear it down. Those metal pipes are going to hit each other, and that's going to hurt. AOD has been shown to be pretty effective at restoring new cartilage. The reason I've got it this high is I've been able to utilize this and still be able to squat heavy while maintaining my athleticism and while maintaining the ability to not hurt myself, even at going on these heavier weights. Coming in at number 12, I think we're on right now, is CJC 1295. Here's what happened with CJC. CJC works like a lot of the big growth hormone peptides. They're going to stimulate the pituitary gland, tell your body to produce more growth hormone, which then turns into IGF, which is going to help you build more muscle, right? That's the end goal. The reason I didn't like it, and you'll read all about this online, is people talk about this pulse feeling you get in your head when you take CJC. It is a good option for those of you who are looking for a steady growth hormone pulse. If you're going to use it and you don't get that pulsing in your head, right? I don't think there's any logical reason to use it over things like Tesa-IPA, simply because the Tesa-IPA is better for burning fat as well as retaining more muscle. But the main thing that you need to know is it's going to operate above the hormonal axis. It's going to last a little bit longer and be a little bit more of a steady growth hormone release rather than an all-at-once boom. All right, at number 11, we've got Kisspeptin. I've talked about Kisspeptin before. I am actually a really big fan of this, but I don't use it because I'm on TRT. If you're on TRT, Kisspeptin eventually becomes useless. But what it's really good at is stimulating the pituitary gland to increase your sperm production and help boost testosterone, which for a lot of guys is an absolute necessity. It's oftentimes used in fertility treatments for its ability to increase LH, which is your luteinizing hormone, which is one of the two things that makes up your ability to have children. Almost everybody has got low testosterone today, and if you don't know what your levels are and you've never checked, now is the time to do it. Stop what you're doing right now. I don't even care if I lose you as a viewer. Go check your testosterone because it is the most important thing you're going to do as a man today. Next is LL37. Now this one's pretty cool and it's very interesting. LL37's job is to kill bacteria, viruses, fungus, anything that can alter the immune system or your internal health. Now your body produces this naturally throughout your skin, your gut, your lungs, all the areas that you would have your immune defense. But when you're able to upregulate it, you can really play the ultimate defense against the world of fungus, viral infection, disease, things like that. Next is Thymosin beta 4, otherwise known as TB500. Guys, this has been a lifesaver for me on countless occasions. I always blend it with my BPC 1.7. The reason I've got it lower than BPC is, imagine BPC is your star player, your Michael Jordan, your LeBron James, whoever. The TB500 is more of the coach. It's really just telling it where to go in the most strategic ways possible, which is why they work really well together, and you always want to take them together if you're going to do one or the other. But at the end of the day, the coach is nothing without the player, right? The coach is replace a player. That's harder to replace. Your BP 157 is going to be that real building block when it comes to any healing, any injury, any muscular tissue or soft tissue that needs repair. BPC 157 is going to be the building block that solves that problem. TB500 is your body's mechanism of pushing all those building blocks where they need to go. And it creates those pathways for those building blocks to get there in the most effective way possible. The fancy word is cell migration. I could sit here and try to sound really smart and cool for you guys, or I could just tell you how I understand it. I don't know. Tell me in the comments which way you like better. Next is a popular one on this page. I talk about it a lot, is Semax. Semax is a neurocognitive enhancement peptide and is really good at building BDNF, which is brain-derived nootropic factor. Those of you guys that are looking for a clean, optimal way to focus without having to blast a bunch of caffeine or take Adderall, Vyvanse, things that are going to alter your brain state, Semax is a really effective way to increase your cognitive output by about 20%, which is a lot more than you think, without any of that cracked out feeling that you get from most neurocognitive enhancement. When BDNF is stimulated in the brain, so when Semax is used, your neurons are getting a signal to create new branches and new connections in your brain, literally making it so that your brain is now capable of producing more, having better memory, better recollection, faster processing speed, better decision making. The benefits are endless, and I'm a really big fan of it. The only thing I don't like about it is you can't be on it forever, and it does have diminishing returns. So you have to use it for about a month and then take about 2 weeks off is what I'm. Now we've got to Thymosin alpha 1. If you remember, I said LL37 is really well paired with Thymosin alpha 1. This one has gotten me out of 2 jams before, and it has been a lifesaver. I'm not someone who gets sick often. When I get sick, it is usually aggressive. That means something beat all of my immune system, everything that I take. It got through all of that. So it's usually pretty nasty. When I get to that point, I take Thymosin alpha 1. This is the best thing I've seen for immediately rectifying sickness, disease, anything of the sort. Thymosin alpha 1 is the active peptide in your body that is responsible for identifying identifying and eliminating threats to the immune system. It doesn't get much more impactful from that. This next one's kind of vain, I'm aware. I believe we're at number 6, and that is Melanotan 2. I am just such a big fan of the results I get from this one. It's arguably not the healthiest one you can take, and there's different side effects that come with it. Most people would probably have it rank lower, but dang it, does this stuff work. All its job is to do is to reactivate your skin cells to tell them to produce more melanin. The way to think of it is imagine all of your skin cells are light bulbs that have a dimmer and a dial that you can say, I want these to look as bright as possible or as dim as possible. We're gonna crank it all the way up. We're gonna flush all the melanin in there and make all of our lights shine super bright. That's how Melanotan 2 works with your skin cells. Now, it does this, and the reason it's remarkable is you don't even need to go in the sun. I would absolutely recommend it because what I notice is when I don't go in the sun on this stuff, I start to get freckles, my moles get darker, and that to me gets scary. Now, at our top 5, number 5 is Ipamorelin. You heard me talk about this earlier. Ipamorelin in its own state is really good. It's not as good as the Tessa-Ipa blend. The reason I've got Ipamorelin ranked higher than all of the other growth hormone peptides we talked about on this list is because it is the cleanest growth hormone pulsing mechanism on this entire list. The reason Ipamorelin works better in comparison to the others is that it binds almost exclusively to the growth hormone releasing part of your ghrelin, whereas the other ones spill into the other areas of your ghrelin that don't directly produce growth hormone. So if you want the cleanest, most concentrated way to produce growth hormone while targeting your ghrelin, a lot of big words here, main takeaway, Ipamorelin is the most direct way to target that growth hormone pulse that you're after. Next, we've got BPC-157. I talked about this before. BPC is going to be those main building blocks we use to heal our injuries and our problems internally. BPC is super effective and has bailed me out of several injuries in the chest, in the shoulder. Anytime I feel any sort of tweak, I overdo it when I'm working out. BPC has been the one that has gotten me back. Those two compounded with a third peptide, which also happens to be number 3 on our list, which is GHK-Cu, also known as the copper peptide. A lot of you guys have seen this for people using it as an aesthetic benefit, showing that it's making their skin look really good and their hair thicker. I've been using it again for the last 8 weeks, and this is my 3rd time using it. I have never gotten results like I've gotten this time because I dove a little bit deeper in terms of what you really need to do to make it work. Top 2 on the potentially legal peptides coming out. Number 2 is MOTS-c. Haven't heard of MOTS-c yet. Its entire job is mitochondria replication. What it's going to go in and do, mitochondria, your cellular health, makes up everything that you do. Every time you move your arm, every time you think about something, every time you want to perform athletically or do anything, you have a cellular connection and a cellular output of energy that's happening in your body. Now, your cellular health and your ability to produce cellular energy directly dictates how well you're going to recover, how well you're going to perform, how well you're going to think, how well you're going to do anything. So your MOTS-c is designed to go into your mitochondria, take all of those powerhouses of the cell, like we learned in 5th grade biology, and multiply them, make more of them, create more power, give you more output, which is why people get such phenomenal energy results when using it. I've used it myself. I'm a huge fan. I have another buddy of mine who's really big on Instagram, but he was having blood sugar issues, and he told me, hey, I am not able to get my blood sugar down. Everything's just so high. And when he takes the MOTS-c, cellular energy used to modulate his blood sugar, he goes back down to normal ranges. This is incredibly effective for people who have these kind of issues. A lot of people oftentimes call MOTS-c exercise in a bottle because it stimulates the benefits of doing more exercise, both cardiovascular and physical, without actually doing the exercise. So you can imagine if you combine both, what the results might look like. Coming down to number 1, my favorite peptide on this list, and I've used it twice. I'm excited to start my 3rd round here soon, and that is Epitalon. If you guys have not seen this one yet, I encourage you to look this up. I've also got a full video on my YouTube on everything you need to know about Epitalon. But to give you guys what's short and important, Epitalon has 2 major benefits. The first one is telomere expansion. Every day we get older, our cells are continuing to divide. The slower that our cells divide and the less cellular division that we have, that is what creates the aging process. For example, skin on my arm. The reason I don't have wrinkles is because my cells are redividing at a rapid enough rate, second that they can't keep up with that replication. Now, every time our cells divide, the telomere, which is the little tips of the chromosome, when we have that cellular division, the telomere gets a little bit shorter every time. When it gets so short that it can no longer split in half, that's when you no longer have cellular division. But you can now lengthen those telomeres. You can give yourself more ability in a longer time period to continue to have your cells divide, which is why it's showing 20 to 30% increases in lifespan for people using Epitalon, which is incredible. You can not only look younger longer, you can also live longer. A lot of people have this stigma. They're like, oh, you're taking peptides, you're going to die when you're 40. No, because I'm taking peptides, I'm going to be 140, possibly older. It was really cool. And the second part of Epitalon is in the pineal gland. It's going to reset your body's ability to produce melatonin. Your body normally, when you go to bed and wake up, it's got an idea of when you should have your melatonin. Melatonin being the hormone in your brain that is responsible for sleep. When your sleep schedule gets so distorted where one night you go to bed at 1 a.m. and then 10 p.m., the body doesn't know what to do next with its melatonin. So it just kind of goes sporadic. It doesn't have a consistent schedule. Epitalon can give you the reset button to say, okay, I'm going to go to bed at this time going forward. I'm going to produce my melatonin at 10 p.m. I'm going to fall asleep at 10 p.m. I'm going to wake up at 7, and it's going to rebalance your ability to sleep. And when I tell you how well rested you feel after that, the benefits are endless. People don't realize how impactful your sleep is in everything you do in terms of your energy throughout the day, your skin, your mood, everything about the way you look, perform physically, all is dependent on your sleep. So the reason I've got this ranked at number 1 is I've only used it a few times, and each time it is just absolutely bonkers the difference I feel after I finish the cycle and then forward. And for a lot of my celebrity clientele who uses tons and tons of peptides, a lot of them have this ranked as their number 1. But that's it for this video, guys. We don't know which ones are going to be legal yet. I'm hoping it's the ones in my top 5, of course. But if you're into this kind of content, you want to learn more about peptides, more ways to optimize the body, more ways to become the best version of you possible, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and drop a comment. Tell me what you want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next one.